from Sarah, sitting in the Techstars location in Kendall Square right now. That's awesome. Question: how did you go about navigating the venture capital process in terms of figuring out what information was important to present and then going through the actual pitch process? How I think about, what investors are looking for, particularly, if it's serial entrepreneur, that case is aside, and that always frustrated me where, we'd be going around trying to raise $150,000 just out of college, and everyone was like, oh, that's a friends and family round, you'll be fine. But our parents had just put us through college, and all of our friends were broke, so that wasn't an option for us. I think in general, they're just extrapolating. So they say, if we give these people $18,000 in 3 months, look at all that they can do. Imagine what they could do with 1 year and $500,000, and then, or $1 million in 18 months. Wow, look at all they were able to do in 2 years and just under $1 million. What if we gave them $6.5 million and 5 years or 3 years to run? And I think that story and extrapolation is probably the best advice on how to think through the venture capital process. Is what can you show them on a small scale that, given more money, more time, more salespeople, more developers, that you'd be able to do over a longer period of time. And then it's really about getting your story straight. How does what you're working on and what you've been passionate about and what your team is built to do fit into a broader, bigger narrative? And it's about telling that story. It's about reading as much as you possibly can and talking to as many people who have gone through the venture capital process as possible. So, before you see your first term sheet, they are these mythical, unicorn-esque pieces of paper. And I remember our first term sheet and getting it. I went to a Starbucks and I put on headphones and some great music, and with my computer in front of me, started Googling all of these terms. What's a liquidation preference? What's a this? What's a that? Coming up with a list of questions that I then went to our lawyer and my mentors with before going back in and negotiating that term sheet. So, no one's born knowing how to do this, but the more you talk to people, and now there's resources. Venture Deals was a great book that Jason and Brad actually wrote, breaking down all the terms of the term sheet. And I really wish that had been around when I first started, but I'm glad that it's out there and the resource is there now. And then the pitch process kind of drives itself. You start hearing, the same questions and complaints or weaknesses over and over again. And then, those are all legitimate things. And that's what, good investors are designed to do and still do with Next Big Sound today is, I want to talk about the beautiful product that we've built. I want to talk about, these certain deals that we've closed. I want to talk about these key hires that we've made. But there's this one area that I haven't quite figured out that's not going very well, that I really don't want to talk about now. And that's immediately what's honed in on, whether it's a pitch to your first pitch to a venture capitalist or, a board meeting. And that's actually what you should focus on, because when things are going really well, how do we speed it up? Where are the bottlenecks? That's always a good question. But how do we fix things that are broken or are not going so well?